All right. Hello, YouTube. Today we're doing a full review. We're going to do the full review of the Adidas Adizero SL2. You can buy this shoe for $130. This shoe I did buy with my own money. I did get a little discount code, but I did purchase this with my own money. So again, we're just going to try to run through all this stuff. I have a lot of information here. We're going to try and just run through this really quick. I'm actually going to have to go to work here in like 45 minutes, so I'm trying to kind of cram this in today. But we're going to start from the top to the bottom again, like we did with my last full review. Yeah, so we're going to start with the laces. The laces are kind of a rounded-esque, but they're thin. They're not like a typical size lace. They're a little bit thinner, which I thought was okay. Nothing great. It actually reminds me of the Adios Pro 2 laces, which I've ran that shoe quite a bit, and yeah, the laces are pretty much just like that. So if you're familiar with those laces, then that's what it's like. And then as far as like the lacing system, I feel like it's pretty standard, pretty normal for the most part. Yeah, honestly, pretty normal, pretty standard. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was just okay. The tongue is not gusseted. It's just a loose tongue, but I will say I had no issues with it slipping. It does have a nice little bit of padding right around the top of it, so I think it honestly does pretty well. It's pretty comfortable. Didn't have any issues with the laces or the tongue at all with this shoe. And then as far as the mesh, it's an engineered mesh. I felt like it was pretty breathable. Do I feel like it could have been more breathable? Sure. But I think whenever you're running outside and it's really humid and really hot, I think that's just what everyone wants. Everyone wants it to be even more breathable than it is. So everything just kind of feels hot. But I didn't really have any issues with that either. As far as the heel counter, it's pretty flexible, as you can tell. It's nothing crazy. I do feel like it's structured enough to lock you down pretty well. I do like the padding. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but there is actually a good amount of padding right there. So it was very comfortable. I had no issues with that as well. And then we'll kind of go to, yeah, so the insole, honestly, it's pretty much pretty standard. I mean, there's nothing fancy about it. I mean, it's pretty much just middle of the road, nothing fancy. But yeah, I thought that was pretty well made. The midsole, now that's kind of where the magic really happens in this shoe. So it has a full-length Light Strike Pro, as you can kind of see right in there. So, and it's encaged in this Light Strike 2.0, which is kind of like their daily training foam. So it's basically their super foam encased in their daily training foam. So it's a really nice pair, whereas the original SL1 only had a little puck of Light Strike Pro right underneath the ball of the foot, whereas this has a full length. So I think that's a really great upgrade, an update from the first one. So that already makes this shoe so much better and more versatile. I will say that as well. But I loved the midsole. So as far as the feeling, you get that sense of security at any pace. So you feel pretty stable at any pace because of that Light Strike 2.0. But then you get that little bit of pop whenever you do want to pick up the paces with the Light Strike Pro midsole. So it's just honestly, it's a great marriage between the two midsole compounds. And so good job, Adidas, on that. Great shoe. And then as far as like the softness of the shoe, the durometer I was doing it, or the durometer, I was doing it all kinds of different places trying to find. It's kind of hard to get a level reading on this, just because everything's kind of rounded. But I was getting anywhere from 32 to 35. I wasn't really able to get in there and get the Light Strike, but it's kind of, yeah, it's pretty soft compared to the Light Strike 2.0, and so but it's, yeah, again, it was pretty soft, but not too soft. A good amount of response for sure. The drop from heel to toe, On Adidas's website, they say that there's 36 in the heel and 27 in the forefoot for a 9 millimeter drop. I also saw a few other people kind of review this shoe, and they were saying it's a 10 millimeter drop. I don't know, to be honest. Um, since I'm kind of using the shoe for a little bit faster type stuff, but also mixed in with easy, I didn't really the drop didn't really bother me like I thought it might have, or how other 9 to 10 millimeter drop shoes usually do. So I think a lot of it is just this shoe just feels so good underfoot that um, it just works. I don't know. I do think that that could be changed and it might make this shoe even better. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyways, so that would be the drop of the shoe and the stack height. The weight, whenever this shoe is completely dry and it doesn't have all my sweat in it, I was getting 8.65 ounces in a men's size 9.5. After today's run, because I got really sweaty, it was 8.8 ounces. So the sweat definitely makes it a little bit heavier. But yeah, so about 8.6 ounces in a men's size 9.5, which is pretty solid. The outsole, Adidas is known for continental rubber on the bottom of their shoes. This doesn't have continental rubber as far as I know, but it honestly feels a lot like a lot of the other Adidas shoes I've tried. This thing is super durable, and it has great grip. Absolutely no issues with the outsole. Love the outsole. There's a lot of, as you can tell, there's quite a bit of rubber coverage here. So again, very durable rubber. And then we're going to go into the scoring system, and I'll kind of briefly go through that again for the people that don't know how that works. So I have 12 different things that I go through to kind of rate a shoe, and I score them from 1 to 10. And then at the end of that, then we kind of break down the way I'm going to use a shoe and kind of what I think about the shoe. So for a total score of 7.0 to 7.4, that would be a shoe that I would say is runnable. It's not a great shoe, but it is runnable. And then a shoe from 7.5 to 7.8, I would say it's a good shoe. So it's like a good standard, like get the job done shoe. And then from 7.9 to 8.4, that's a shoe that's good enough and that are it's a shoe I desire and like enough to put in my runnable and even buy again category. And then if a shoe scores 8.5 or higher, that's going to be a favorited shoe. And in all of my years of running, I probably only have had 1 or 2 shoes that have made that list at that given time. Now those shoes probably wouldn't make my list. But anyways, that's kind of how the scoring system works. And so we're going to go through each category and give a scoring on them. Okay. So as far as the laces and the lacing system, I gave it a 7.5. I thought it was standard. Got the job done. Nothing fancy. Could be better, but it was fine. I mean, as far as in terms of things being better, I might not have quite a thin of a lace, and maybe have the eyelets maybe spread out a little bit differently. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe a little bit more. A better way to kind of sync it up better, or kind of cinch it up better. I kind of felt a little bit hard to cinch it up just right, but it honestly did well. Like I found a way to make it work. The tongue, I gave it a 7.5 as well. Again, just a standard score. Nothing fancy. The upper, I gave a 7.5 as well. It could be a little bit more breathable, but overall I was happy with it. The insole, again, 7.5 because it was standard, nothing fancy. Could it be better? I'm sure it could be, but nothing bad about that as well. The midsole, I gave an 8.5 because it's amazing. I mean, it's not going to get too much better than this. I think that just being able to kind of get feedback from customers, I think they'll probably end up making this midsole maybe even better. But to be honest, this is about as good as it gets. It feels amazing, so I gave it a high score of 8.5. The outsole, I gave it a score of 9. And the reason I gave it a score of 9 is because I think this thing will probably last longer than the shoe will last. Like this, the rubber is incredible. I mean, there's no signs of wear or anything like that. And I mean, it's probably going to last a ton of miles. And so that to me really can't get much better than that. I mean, that's just super durable. The drop, this is the lowest score in the scoring system, and I gave it a 7. I don't think it's bad, but to be honest, I think this shoe would be a lot more desirable, at least for me, if it was an 8 millimeter drop or less. Preferably in that 6 to 8 range would probably be a better place for this shoe. That's just what I think. I think it's just a little bit more forgiving, and I kind of think it works better for my biomechanics, but other people's as well. So yeah, that would be the one thing I would change. The weight, I gave it a score of an 8, which is a pretty good score, because I think it's pretty light, but it could be lighter. But it's also, like, for what it is, I think it's really good. It's a really good weight. So, and in terms of durability, I gave it an 8.5 because I think it's going to go a lot of miles. And in terms of like how many miles I think it could go, honestly, I would say anywhere from 400 to 600 miles. I mean, I know that might be a lot, but I honestly think it can. Again, the rubber coverage is incredible, so I think it's very capable of going 400 to 600 miles. So that's my 2 cents on that. As far as the looks, I gave it an 8.5 because I think it looks sleek. I think it looks fast. I really like this colorway too. And so yeah, I just really like the way it looks. As far as versatility, I gave it an 8.5 again because this shoe is extremely versatile. I ran as slow as 8 minutes a mile. I ran faster than 5 minutes a mile in this shoe, and it felt amazing at both. And because it is pretty lightweight, I feel like you could use it for anything. I don't know, it's just super versatile. I mean, a shoe that can do well at that many paces and feel good and feel stable and feel secure at that many paces is hard to find these days. And so yeah, so in terms of versatility, I give it 8.5. And then in terms of price, I gave it a 9 because this is $130 for a shoe that is this light, that feels this good underfoot, it looks this good, can do all the things that it can do for $130. That's wild. This might be the best versatile overall trainer on the market, and I honestly stand by that. Like that's something I truly stand by. Right now, this shoe is it's a do-it-all shoe. It really is. And so yeah, I think the scoring of 9 is definitely worth that. And then my total score over everything, so if you were to add everything up and average it out, this shoe comes to an 8.1, which comfortably makes it into my running rotation shoes. So that's really exciting. So yeah, this would be really cool to take and run more miles in and get more testing in it. And so yeah, it's an amazing shoe, and I'm super excited. I'm getting to try it. And then as far as the purpose for me, so this shoe for me, I will probably use it for kind of mixed runs where I have a few tempo or threshold type efforts in the middle of a run. I'll use it for progressive runs. I'll even use it for easy runs if I just want something different underfoot. I use it for sessions. I might even use this on the track. I mean, shoot, this thing feels like it can probably do anything. The only thing I probably won't use this shoe for is a long run, but I do think it can get up to 10, 12 miles pretty easily and feel okay. I think beyond 12 miles, it might not have quite enough pop, but to be honest with you, I haven't tried that, so I could change that opinion. So that's the way I'm going to use it. Who's this shoe best for? Someone that needs one shoe that can do it all. This is definitely your shoe. But I definitely think this is one of the best rotational shoes too, because it can do some easy running, but also if you need a good session shoe that's going to last you a long time, this is a great shoe to have in your rotation as well. And for high school kids, this is a great shoe because you can do your cross country workouts in this, but then you can also just do your easy runs in it, and you can This shoe can tackle just about anything. Who's a shoe not best for? To be honest, I don't know how to even answer this question, because I think it can work for anyone. Maybe the one person that wouldn't work for is someone that has excessive supination or overpronation. It is decently stable, like it's not like unstable. But yeah, that might be the one person that wouldn't work for. So, and then shoes I'd compare this to. I really struggled with this question because I don't really know what shoe to kind of compare this to. One thing I thought was it kind of a little bit reminds me of the Endorphin Speed if it didn't have a plate, a little bit, just because it's relatively close in weight. It's a little bit heavier, but it also is, I think it's a lot more durable than that shoe. So it's kind of hard to say. To be honest, I can't really think of a shoe that really reminds me too much of this shoe. As far as like the purpose of the shoe, I think it would be, on paper, it would be close to like the Hoka Mach 6. It's a versatile daily trainer. I still think this shoe is a better shoe, honestly. But it's really hard to say what it's compared to, just because I think it is it's just a different feel, different fit, and it just has, it's just different than anything I've really tried. Because it really even feels quite a bit different than the original SL1. So, yeah. But anyways, I hope this review was good and it made sense. If you have any questions, please comment. Please like and subscribe to me on this channel. I'm really enjoying doing these videos for everyone. If there's anything else you wanted me to cover, please let me know. But this is my full review of the Adidas Adizero SL2.